All right. Good evening and welcome to the stream. So, what I wanted to do today, as yesterday there was I should probably hit live, right? There we go. As yesterday there was Professions Preview and I on Professions. Is this it? Yeah, this is it right here. I'm just looking at the blue tracker on MMO Champion. Now, with that said, previously, it was about 2 months ago, I have that up here also. It was April, May, June, July. Oh, it was 3 months ago. Community manager Kyvax. This is as I gather about these blue posts. Community managers post a question or a reaction to. This is back in April when they did the Dragonflight video, the announcement video, the live stream, and they wanted to know what we thought of the deep dive. It wasn't a deep dive. It was just, hey, we're gonna redo Professions. It was not a deep dive in the live stream they did, even though they called it that. But community manager Kyvax posted, and then an actual WoW developer, that's what it says, Droff, answered. And I wanted to go over that because this came out before the preview, and the preview went over, well, that specific preview, this one really went more into the details of crafting. It did cover these in a little bit more as well, but I wanted to revisit it again now that we have more information. And I want to do a little comparison and get my thoughts on it. So let's jump right into it. So what I'll do is that I'll read over this. There's going to be, like it says number 1 here and number 38. There were comments in between, and they were just comments from the community. But when Droff, the developer, responds, they list the comment, and that's what his response is right here. And this is the comment. So just in case it's a little hard to follow, but that's okay. I'll go through it. I don't have to. Well, we don't have to, read the entire everybody else's comments. Just specifically what he responded to is what I'm mainly interested. That's why I'm on the blue tracker here. So let's start. Kyvax asks, "What do you think of the deep dive into the update to Professions and related items coming in Dragonflight?" Now he asked the community, obviously, and they commented. And then the lead developer, chimed in. "Hey everyone, sorry for taking so long." Wait a minute, he came in April, May, almost a month later. That's interesting. That's fine though. "Sorry for taking so long to start responding to this thread. We've been super busy building out the profession system and content we have been discussing. I'm going to try to slowly work through this and address some of the bigger points and questions here as I have time. Professions is actively being worked on, so your responses and feedbacks are super helpful, so please keep them coming." For my first response, I want to address some of the confusion around how you improve at your profession, and thus craft, gather things at higher quality. You do not directly get better at a recipe via crafting it multiple times, as you do with legendary recipes in Shadowlands. That is an interesting system, but ultimately requires a huge amount of gold investment and can get repetitive. This means only players with lots of gold can easily engage with it, and has also resulted in the cost of legendaries being extremely high in many cases. For the profession revamp, there are many different ways to improve at your professions. I'll talk more about those soon. And thus, craft, gather items at higher quality. The goal is that the pursuit of profession progression is through compelling and fun activities over spending lots of gold, though. Gold will, of course, still have its place. You may still want to buy reagents or make orders for high-end crafting gear, for instance, but it should not be a gate to your ability to dive into and have lots of success with your chosen professions. Now, bouncing back to crafting orders. So they're saying, I'm just, trying to do a little compare and contrast here. That crafting orders kind of addresses that. Instead of making a lot of, addresses it in a way, I suppose. So instead of making a lot of useless items, we're actually going to make orders for people and possibly level up through crafting orders. I can see this useful for leveling up. But as we reach or get near the max level of however they implement the profession level, I suppose, then Crafting orders will still, be there, but I wonder how that will pan out. We're just gonna have to wait and see, at least get a sample of it in a PTR. Okay, so someone commented more now. I just hope some of the profession items can compete with raid gear too, or be able to highly level it to the point to at least enhance a best in slot item. It is absolutely the case that we plan on having crafted gear be able to compete with top end gear from other sources, and in some cases even be best in slot. One of the most important goals to the work order system is enabling crafted gear to be much more relevant to the game. Because right now, I mean, crafted gear at the beginning of an expansion pack is relevant because everyone wants to gear up for normals and heroics. And then patch by patch, when they introduce a new catch up mechanic, catch up gear, or maybe some PvP gear, it's a little bit relevant, make some sales, but it's not relevant throughout the course of the expansion pack. It has its peaks. It like peaks at it at the beginning and then peaks with every drop of every expansion. But in between, there's a lull. That's just as I see it. I think that's the case. Just remember, in order to have that powerful gear crafted for yourself, you need to go out and earn special soulbound reagents to provide to the crafter in order to have that item you've had your eye on crafted. Now, this thing with Blizzard and soulbound reagents, that's kind of annoying. If it was account bound, that would be fine, but it's soulbound. That's like so limiting, and I just don't understand the philosophy. I understand that you want to. Maybe I don't understand. I gather, I guess, that you want to do something. I'm not even sure what the point of Soulbound is for like reagents for gear. Of course, you want to you got it on that character. It's a gear, not a gear based game, but gear is heavily part of the gameplay. You get your gear. They don't want you just swapping it all around all the time. That's kind of counterintuitive to what their philosophy is on gear, which is fine. But the actual crafty items, I think it's a little bit too much. The soulbound part, account bound, I get that, but soul binding even a lot of reagents, if they're going to do it that way, maybe just a bit much. But we're just going to have to see how they implement that. Okay. You'll need to go out and earn Dro. You'll need to go out and earn special soulbound reagents to provide to the crafter. Okay, we said that. And then somebody commented, is it possible to speak a little bit about the anticipated grindiness? Okay, and he elaborates. I don't want to go into a lot of detail on the planned system for Dragonflight yet, but the intent is that is not generally grinding when aiming to earn gear appropriate to your activity. That is, if you are a normal raider, for instance, your normal raid provides enough reagents to allow you to craft a limited amount of normal raid item level gear without needing to go do a bunch of other stuff. But if you say you want to craft heroic raid tier gear as a normal raider, you could choose to go do other activities such as M+, PvP, challenging outdoor activities to supplement the reagents required and get better gear sooner. Okay. In general, we'd like crafted gear to feel something like you are earning at a satisfying rate alongside your other gear sources, which sounds fine. Remember this came out before the a little bit further deep dive into the crafting aspects of the new professions several months ago. And I'm gonna hop over to that one in just a second. Say you had bad luck and got no drops while raiding. You'll still be making progress towards some high-end crafted gear. And say you just can't get legs to drop for you. You may choose to have the legs crafted to fill in that particular slot with larger upgrade. Okay, so with this system, I'm trying to get a grasp on the philosophy. They're not saying they still want you to, okay, you're raiding, you go raid and you get raid gear. You do Mythic Plus, and you get Mythic Plus gear, you do PvP, and you get PvP gear. That's what they're, I guess, aiming towards. And they want crafted gear to be supplementary, not a replacement. Bad luck protection, which I don't see an issue with. For some crafted gear, you might also need to seek out a special rare drop off a certain mob in the world, a dungeon, or a raid as well. Earning crafted gear should feel like a bonus, an adventure, and a social experience. And I can get with that. Now let's return to the current, to what was most recently dropped. Let's see if we can find something to compare it with. Um, this one because this one just goes over mainly the crafting. I'm quickly skimming because I got something in my head. I'm trying to express it. Because I don't want to re-go over this in its entirety, the newer post, because I already did that. This I don't understand. In Dragonflight, you will gain skill in your profession similar to the way you have in the past, except that with the addition of work orders, that could be a replacement for skilling up and making useless items to kind of vendor, because that's what I end up usually doing with those. I vendor them because it's just not worth the time I have to do the post on the auction house. But actually making something for somebody that wants it is really appealing to me. There will be one main difference though for primary crafting professions. Instead of needing to max your skill to learn all the recipes, you will only need to skill up about halfway. It should also mean that while you're filling crafting orders for others or making useful items for yourself or whomever, that you will continue to gain skill. Finally, it should mean many fewer items will be made just to skill up. I'm with that. Fewer items will be made just to skill up, thus flooding the market and diminishing their value. See, I'm with that. So the crafting orders, it may pan out. It could be win lose, lose lose, or win win. I'll say what I got in my mind here in a second there. This is also true because much of the latter half of your profession skill will be earned through crafting high-end items and requires specially earned soulbound reagents, such as an individual crafter. You cannot earn enough of these on your own and max out your profession. You will often need to fill orders from others to maximize your profession skill. Now, that's the philosophy again. But let's look at something here. This is what I'm thinking. Was it here? Okay. Note to crafter. I would love to have this for tomorrow's raid if you can get it done in time. Thanks. The commission. I'm thinking about the win-win, lose-lose, or break even. We both win kind of thing. If the price being dictated kind of by commission by the one that wants it crafted. In this instance, it's 200 gold. Like in general, like in trade chat, people say, "Hey, I want you to make this, and I'll tip you." Blah blah blah. I don't do those because they're not really worth my time. I'll do it to help somebody out here and there, but the main reason I do them is because I want to get a skill up. I don't do them to make money because they don't. They'll just give you like 5 gold and call it a day. So I wonder if this crafting orders will kind of play out real fast. Like people will only do it just to get skill ups, and once they have reached their max, they'll avoid it. Like someone like me, I'll probably just stop doing it and just post direct to the auction house. I was wondering about that with crafting orders. If it all depends on how people feel, and I know tipping is a thing in America, but I don't want to be tipped. I want to charge you. I want to, because with the way they're talking about doing profession and it being so potentially engaging and very much of a time sink, because you got to level up your professions, the skill itself, the gear, and you got to get special reagents sometimes, even as a crafter, and the craftee needs to go get them too. But it's a huge time sink now. It appeared. I know it's just a preview, but I'm wondering if crafting, 'cause I was thinking this yesterday as well. If crafting orders will be useful, well, if somebody wants something, but okay, if somebody wants something, and then you're trying to get a skill up, of course I'll do it. I'll do it for free. But once I move past that point, I will not revisit this. I'm just wondering what direction it's going to go. Of course, more details will be in the future from the developer from Blizzard, but this is just speculation right now. I wonder how this is going to play out because people don't tip now, and I don't see that changing. That's why and I don't want a tip. I don't want like, oh, here's a little something for you. No, I'm charging you because I'm doing something. I mean, I did read in the comments previously. I was going to do a comment video, but I thought the comments weren't all that interesting. But someone said that all you do is click a button. Like, dude, it's a little. I mean, at the end of the day, all we're doing is clicking buttons in the game. actually, but it's a little more than just clicking a button. I have to skill that up. I have to spend a lot of time doing that, and I have to post and repost and do all this other stuff. And now the more involved crafting with a little bit of RNG and some other additional features, it's going to be more involved than just boop, click a button and you're done. But I still want to be paid. I don't want to do it for like 200 gold. I know this is a mock-up. I've done mock-ups too. I used to code, but I don't want to do it for a item level. What were they? What was that example they had? 380, 386, 380 for like, oh, you get 200 gold. No, that's not gonna fly. So I see this. I'm just speculating, but in the beginning, when I'm skilling up, yeah. But once I max out my skill, I'm going for the going probably back to the auction house and try to make those items that really get some gold. I'm just wondering how this is going to play out. I can't wait for more details because I'll speculate some more. What else was I thinking? Kind of lost my thought. But let's go back to the previous post. The big question I have is in relation to small servers. To your point, some of this gear may be best in slot. Is there any consideration being given to these items being legitimately harder to obtain on small servers because not everyone gets created by a character? Because not everything gets created by a character. I think the work order system sounds great, but given what I've experienced with legendaries and Shadowlands, this is a major concern for myself and many others. Yes, this is definitely a valid concern and one we are discussing how to address. Well, I'm not sure. I don't think I understand what this is asking. Everything gets created by a character. I think the work order. Well, recently with the new patch that's coming out, I think it's 9.2.5 or 9.2.7. They are homogenizing consumables. Basically, it's going to not be server wide auction house for consumables as I think I get it. It's going to be like the Americas, like flask and potions and stuff like that. All that will be across the Americas, and gear will be server based. I think that's how it's going. So that's a small step forward, and like that really helps out smaller servers because there's more competition, more gold goblins, more buyers, more sellers. It'll even itself out. I don't even care. I'll just sell it, make gold, little gold adds up, whatever. And if it's not profitable enough, what is profitable enough? Maybe at least I was reading the Lazy Gold Maker. They're saying that you want at least 20% profit of whatever it costs to make it. That sounds reasonable. Bare at the bottom. But there's nothing wrong with getting a little more too. But in general, I want a little more than 20% because that stuff costs sometimes. But anyway, I'm just rambling a little bit. We definitely we definitely have world PvP in mind with our crafting plans, both with interesting recipes and with regards to gathering reagents, but nothing we are ready to talk about yet in detail. Now, I wonder about this because in order to get PvP, in order to do PvP currently, you got to do PvE. And a lot of PvPers that I talk to, and even some little things I read in the forum, when people do PvP, they don't want to PvE, which is understandable. They want to do the content that they enjoy doing. So right now it's not like that. But in Dragonflight, I guess that's the direction they're heading to, which should be a little bit healthier for the game because people get to do what they want to do, which is kind of what it's all about, being entertaining, right? Droth. One thing I want to talk about that we haven't mentioned yet is the concept of recrafting. Recrafting, I do not understand, even after reading that new post. It's still in the works, so it's likely to change some, but the basic idea is as follows. Recrafting will allow you to take any piece of Dragonfly crafted gear and bring it back to the crafting screen as a crafter. You can then spend a special reagent plus a small subset of the original reagents from the recipe to recraft the item. During this process, you can completely change out optional reagents if you want. The new quality of the item will be determined based on the new setup of reagents plus your current skill. This means you can have an item crafted at low quality, then later recraft it when you are at higher skill to a higher quality. So does recrafting get you more skill points too? Or is it just upping the item level? Because they did go over that crafting quality is mostly eye level based, like with this right here. 270 to 280 respectively to tier 1 through tier 5. 270, 272, 274, 277, and 280. So we'll see. For non-crafters, we are planning to support recrafting orders as well. So if someone wanted to save, I guess this would pan out if someone wanted to get the same item, they obviously want it at a higher item level, and they wanted to save on reagents as a non-crafter. But as a crafter, unless I'm getting skill points or I'm going to sell it or something like that, I don't really see the point of recrafting. Well, I just don't understand it yet, but they're going to flesh it out more in the future for sure. It's probably just me. I don't get it. It seems a little unnecessary to recraft it, but they want to stop the no. I just don't know. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. In this case, you can send your item to get recrafted to have its optional reagents changed out or potentially have its quality increased. All this should help players feel comfortable having a high-end item crafted early, when it might not be at max quality, secure in the knowledge that they can always have it recrafted to be better later. See that people, I normally just wait. I don't craft something. I don't craft the low end. I mean, if I was when I make my crafted gear for myself, which I don't do very often because I don't usually do content except crafting stuff and selling it. But when I'm actually doing like Mythic Plus and I want a crafted item, I don't make the low end one. I just wait and make the high end one. I don't. But maybe this will make getting the low end one a thing. Because like with legendaries, it was kind of different. Legendaries, that was an exception, and plus it was something brand new. The way it was implemented with legendaries, it didn't matter what the item level was. Even the trash one item level was perfectly fine because it wasn't about the stats. It was about that legendary power that you needed in order to excel. More player power. And I would take the lower one and then recraft it later to a higher one. But that was for legendaries. Maybe it's a take on that, and they're just expanding on it, which is fine. I'm all with some change here because it's very dull. Any plans for older crafted items like engineering bombs and alchemy potion to be usable again by removing item level restriction? By removing level restriction. Not specifically right now. We think you'd be excited about some of the new stuff we have in store for you. Will the missive? This is a few answers, Lathalis. Thanks for asking. So Lathalis asks, will the missive system or something similar to it be coming back in Dragonflight? And if so, can the recrafted items have their stats changed from the original craft? Missive sense system. I quit WoW very often, and there's so many systems I forget them. So I don't have much to say on that. We definitely think it is valuable to be able to adjust stats on some crafted gear. Customization is one of the coolest aspects of crafting. As far as recrafting changing re- as far as recrafting changing those stats, the intent would be something like this would continue to be done through optional reagents. So in a case like that, yes, you could use recrafting to swap out optional reagents and thus change the secondary stats. I wonder if the materials required, instead of crafting just another item, is the material requirement so high or hefty or hard to get that you want to recraft your item? I wonder, is that going to be part of it? Because right now, well, I guess right now, crafted items are kind of throwaway stats. I mean, I just craft and they're like catch up gear. I don't, oh, but they're talking about making it viable, so I have to keep that in mind, right? Viable gear is going to be worth something, so maybe it needs to be recrafted. But we're going to definitely see. I can't wait for a PTR. Is a system like reforging likely to make a return in relation to crafted gear? Or that's what recrafting sounds like. It kind of sounds like reforging, but I just don't remember everything about reforging except it was there and they got rid of it. Maybe an item to reforge stats could be given to a profession. The recrafting system described is very specific to crafted gear only. Or maybe reforging was like everything. I can't really remember. Just for clarification, making up random numbers for context, if an eye level 325 item costs 50 dragon scales to make, and a 350 costs 75, would you only need 25 dragon scales to upgrade from 325 to 350 instead of having to craft an all new item. So like recrafting, the recrafting system should be thought of as an upgrade system. It's just the way it takes something that has been crafted in the past and recraft it with changed optional reagents and possibly a different quality. So to give a more concrete example using your numbers, a crafted recipe might make a helm at between I don't know 325 and 335 depending on quality. I forgot. There's probably there's gonna be a little bit of RNG. It could require 100 dragon scales as its main reagent. A skilled crafted crafter might be able to make it straight up at quality 5. Item level 335, while a new crafter only at quality 1. Or item level 325. In both cases, reagent cost is the same. Now, how would that work with work orders? Like, if they put in a work order, they're going to want it at probably at a certain item level. So there will be a range of what they're willing to pay. I don't know how that would work. Because if someone takes the work order and they do, I wonder how yeah, I can't wait for more the actual functioning of how a work order goes through, like how it's accepted, how its requirements are determined by the person that wants it crafted. Like if the difference between someone that's at max skill and they craft it and it's just boom, max level, or someone that's at lower level skill and boom, lower level. Excuse me. So I wonder how that will work in the work order with recrafting work orders, as they're saying. I know this is old, and this changes every single day because when you're developing a system, you don't just one idea and then bang, that's it. No, there's many versions, and they're just going with what they're you know having the best luck in realizing their philosophy and their vision at this time, and which is volatile and very likely to change. But I just wanted to talk about it all the same. Talk about it a little bit more. Now, say you got your piece crafted by that unskilled crafter at quality 1. Maybe he's a friend, and I've been working on blacksmithing. I can make it at 5, send it back to me by a recrafting order, and I'll hook you up. You do so. Your friend recrafts it, boom, and then it's an item level 5. But that is an upgrade, and it said it shouldn't be thought as an upgrade. If they recrafted something from a level 1 to a 5, that's an upgrade. I don't understand the verbiage here. Well, I don't understand what Droff is trying to say here. It sounds almost contradictory to me, but that's fine. They're still in the development phase. It's probably just me, and plus they're still trying to figure it out, which is perfectly fine. I'm just speculating anyway. Hasn't been clarified yet how one will become more adept at crafting. Something about a quest line or other activity is ringing a bell. Apologies, as this has already been answered. Excellent question. This is something we will definitely be heavily testing for field. I wonder when that's going to happen. Like, there's no PTR, and they got like 5 months if they want to meet December. But here are some of the ways we imagine you can grow adept at crafting. Improving your overall profession skill, getting better gear for your profession, and specializations. We did mention this in the newer post. We did talk about this in the newer post. Using the higher quality reagents, that's going to be a thing because even gathering is going to have quality in their reagents, which is going to be interesting. I hope it plays out. Using a new type of, I remember what I was thinking before. Using a new type of consumable reagent that we are calling finishing reagents. These reagents give you a bonus while crafting. Now let's go back to, they talk about the recipe difficulty, optional reagents, which can modify up or down. So the optional reagents can make the recipe a little bit more difficult. And that's the difficulty, and that's your crafting skill. I don't think this is too complicated. I think it adds a very, very nice aspect to the kind of dull. A lot of people, I say that because a lot of people, I was reading the comments on the American forums, and they were saying that it's too complicated. It's like, dude, it's very boring. It's been that way for a very, very long time, for like at least 10 years for me. Very boring crafting. They need to spice it up. Your crafting skill determined by your basic profession. Profession gear. So this still coincides. This is the new post here, and including the quality of reagents, finishing reagents, profession gear, skill bonuses, and variety of bonuses provided by consumables, and your profession specialization, which still coincides with the using the higher quality reagents, new type of consumable reagents, finishing reagents, some crafting stats can improve, and optional reagents. So that's still kind of coinciding there. Let's see what else we want to pick out here to read. What kind of sources can we expect for profession gear? Do they drop from the same kind of sources as you would otherwise improve your profession? Can you craft them? Do they drop from dungeons, raids, PvP, etc.? Sorry, being a bit vague here since it's all not designed yet. That's what I was trying to tell you guys before. Like they haven't finished this, and they want to drop it in like 6 months. I don't understand Blizzard. I just hope that it works out. But you'll certainly be able to craft gear with lots of cross-profession crafting, where it's natural. Blacksmith crafting, mining picks and needles for tailoring, for instance. And I saw that. I did go back and look back over this. You see this over here? Like, where is that? Here. Titanicium blacksmithing properly toolbox. Oh, it says profession tools and gear. Titanicium leatherworkers bag. And there's a skinning knife, a needle set, a pickaxe, a sickle. So that's interesting. I'm kind of excited for all this new stuff right here. But I was kind of peeping that when I was looking back over the post, just thinking about it and considering it. If you choose to specialize or gear towards inspiration, so you also gain these stats passively alongside your gear then. I thought it was only going to be part of your gear, much like how things like crit and haste work, but you're able to upgrade these stats through specialization. Gear will definitely be a big source of these stats. Certain choices within your profession specialization will also allow you to gain some of these profession stats. There are likely to be other sources as well, enchants, consumables, etc. That sounds exciting. So with the gear, that's the actual profession gear for crafting. There's profession gear to help you craft better. And with this gear, you can enchant this specific crafter's gear with enchants, consumables, and stuff to make it craft, help you even more craft better, just like normal PvP, PvE gear. Which I'm gonna go back to this and mention, like if somebody's commissioning me 200 gold, I know it's my gold, but somebody's commissioning me 200 gold, and I gotta go through all that work with the profession gear. I gotta enchant it. I gotta do some consumables. I gotta level up a tune. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And they want to tip me. I want to charge a fair, decent price, but I want to charge. I don't want them trying to set the price. So as I was saying, this would be fine for leveling because I'll do it for free and anything to get a skill point because I want the skill. I want to max out my skills. But in game, I just have a hard time seeing why I would continue doing crafting orders instead of just crafting what's going to make some gold. I know little gold adds up, but crafting what's a little bit more profitable, spending the time doing that and then doing the other stuff just on the side. I mean, because I'm just saying, like, based on just people in trade chat, like when they want you to make something for them, they give you like 5 gold. Not to beat a dead horse, but that's been going on for a long time. Oh, and another thing I was thinking, that's what I was thinking. Now, I was gonna actually multi-box. Multi-boxing is not against you, it's not against terms of service. Oh my god, it's the software. You can manually multi-box and gather mats. Sigh. But anyway, I was gonna do that just in the beginning because I don't like gathering it. I really don't like gathering. I only gather when I have to. However, I won't need because I was gonna try doing 3 characters at one time, like just have them follow each other, 3 druids follow each other, and then stop at a herb, stop at a mining thing, and then gather it. Click on one window because my potato can handle 3 clients, so I'll just click in between. I got 2 screens too, and I was gonna click On one window, boom, gather. Click on the other one, boom, gather. Click on the third one, boom, gather. And then make them all follow each other again. And go back to the lead window. And then just move on to the next one. That seems simple enough. That's what I was hoping I would do. But then I got to thinking, just thinking about crafting orders. They're providing reagents sometimes. If they are providing reagents, then I don't need to have three or four accounts, in order to try and gather with three, um, manually gather with three tunes and just use the fourth account for just simply posting on the auction house. I could probably just do fine with two accounts. Could save me quite a bit of coin there. Cause I was going to get heroic edition on all of them, just in case I wanted to, I don't know, level another character for whatever I had going on or something I wanted to try. Because I've been playing the game since vanilla, off and on, and I don't want to level. It's just not the greatest experience for me. I mean, once I do it once, I'm good. I don't want to. I just want to do it. I want to do it faster. That's why